Okay, right. Kramer.
Yes.
So you have I have you officially on the Saints over 7.5 wins.
Yeah, if I was forced to take a side, if I was drawing the curve, there's probably less of the distribution over, but that's where I landed, so I'll stick to it.
Now, what else you like on the positive side or slightly positive side? What are you doing?
I think if the offense does well, Alvin Kamara is a big part of it. I also think Chris Olave has got to be a big part of it. And so there's no competition for targets. It's hard to see him not end up with like a 25 to 30% target share.
Yeah.
So that's right to the division yardage markets to see that he's a dog to, a guy like Drake London. So it's Mike Evans plus 200, Drake London plus 210. I could make the argument. We made the argument that maybe Mike Evans is a better bet for touchdowns in these types of markets, and Drake London, again, pretty big leap of faith here.
Yeah,
that he's just going to walk in and be chalk, and for Chris Olave to be down at plus 370. None of the other guys in this division to me are locked in for the target share that he is, even Drake London. So you can put me down for that. And then and
that was yards, right?
Most yards. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. For the NFC
receptions
South,
would almost be a better one if these cowards would open that market. The other one I would point out is that the Kubiaks tend to have running backs that put up a number of yards.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara is 14-1 in the divisional market, Sean, and listen to Bijan Robinson minus 145. Guys, they're talking about Tyler Algier in camp again. I don't want to alarm anyone. Rashad White, who there's a million cases to be made, whether it's Bucky Irving or his inefficiency or Canales leaving. And then Sean, listen to this one: Jonathan Brooks 4-1, Kamara 14-1. I get it; he catches a lot of passes, but this if this works, if the guys they brought in on the line, it clicks and they're able to roll this out, you could absolutely see Kamara in this system, like with his vision, just racking up yards. So those are the two kind of optimistic cases to me. I didn't want to go full league stuff because I don't think the Saints have the offense to compete on a league level, but within their division, love it.
All right. For me, again, I'm on the under.
Are you smashing the under?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like even there were a couple of cases where I was like, all right, don't be too much of a hater. But
you are a man of the chat, and the chat seems very under.
Oh, chat is swaying me towards get the grave digging tools out. I do like your Alvin Kamara most rush yards in the NFC South. I'll take a small sprinkle on that. 14-1. Dennis Allen, first coach fired.
Ooh, what's that price?
It's tough to find the updated odds, anywhere from like 5 to 8 to 1.
Oh,
we'll call it 7-1.
Is McCarthy still the chalk in that market? I assumed.
I don't know. I'll pull that up again because
it's like every year the Humpty Dumpty over here, waiting to fall off the wall and get glued back together.
Salah is actually the favorite. Then
way.
Yeah, Eberflus is plus 450, which that is crazy. They're not gonna bail that early. Like him getting fired if Caleb Williams isn't awesome, sure, but they're not gonna fire mid-season.
Bears don't do business like that.
Mike McCarthy is right up there at plus 450, which is hilarious because he continues to be 12-5. He's not going to be fired mid-season.
They don't do that either. Yeah.
No. And then Brian Daboll's after him, which as much as I'm not high on the Giants, I don't think they will fire him.
Do you realize how long they let Joe Judge go? They're not gonna pull the trigger fast.
They like Brian Daboll. He lost some weight. He's got a cool shaved head. They're gonna give him a long leash. I do think Saints have a low floor. So Saints fewest wins at 25-1.
Yikes.
Again, if we're looking at a couple sprinkles here, I mean, if this team was 4-13, I would not be shocked by any means. Cause I think the case for building it right, and even Kramer came in as the optimist, and he had him at 8-9. I mean, am I wrong? Like there does feel like a 3-win floor for this team, and I'm just really out on Dennis Allen, Derek Carr. So those are some fun ways to fade them. Although again, the Kamara I think is kind of undervalued right now in like fantasy best ball, especially if Kendre Miller isn't going to do anything to steal away those touches and carries. Chris, I got you down for under 7.5 wins, and Saints win 1 exactly in the first 5 at plus 225.
That's a great bet.
That's a fun bet, and of course,
I like the Saints.
And it and it'll only be the Cowboys that they beat. But Chris, what other any other Saints futures you want to get down on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say also the same thing for the division, right? Like after those 5 games, I mean, right now it's already at plus 340. But this is a winnable division for any team. Right? I mean, you can go 8-9, you could win this division.
Yeah,
and all that would take theoretically, by what a few of us said, in their win total is like one upset win, right? So maybe after week 5 you look at that as well, but. Completely agree with what Kramer said about Chris Olave. I don't know if it's just two guys, fans of 4-time Super Bowl winning teams. I don't know what it is, Kramer, but you're thinking like reference. Me. You're thinking like me here, and Chris Olave, I just think is going to stand out so enormously. And I mean, who else are they going to throw to? Right? There's no more Jimmy Graham, thank God. There's no more Michael Thomas. Alvin Kamara, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not even sure how good Alvin Kamara is at this point. There's just, I don't know. It's just kind of getting weird for me. Chris Olave put on a few pounds of muscle. Spencer Rattler is already soaring about him. Like if Spencer somehow becomes the quarterback, like it's not like Derek Carr is like a true like franchise quarterback who every coach trusts, right?
On.
Like like we could see him maybe being spit out of that roster as well. So I mean, Spencer's going to go up high to him. I think it's a quicker offense, and so I got Chris Olave to snag 12 touchdown passes or more this season. Now. He had 5 last season. Okay. So it's not like he's gotten anywhere close to that, but I just think he's going to be even more featured. That's plus 1,300 is what I'm seeing out there. That's pretty good value for.
It's 12 receiving touchdowns at plus 1,300.
12 receiving touchdowns. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
And I'll say this too. I just wish there were more bets on Taysom Hill, because what I'm seeing,
those cowards won't list them.
Yeah, the team reports from camp are saying that they're going to put Taysom Hill at running back, fullback, tight end, and wide receiver. Like this guy is going to be a modern day Jim Thorpe for real. So I would just love a little more bets on him. But lastly, I'll just mention, because I know you guys like a far fetching bet, but Saints plus 9,000 to be the highest scoring team. Look, they were top 10 last season somehow. Somehow they were top 10. Even with how crappy their offense looked. So if it all comes together, like, or maybe Spencer Rattler comes in the lineup, like who knows, guys? Maybe we got something brewing here. Probably not, but that's a pretty damn good number.
Yeah, for 90-1, even as a guy who's out on the Saints, 90-1, and I like that Olave adjusted touchdowns. That's a fun one.
Chris Olave, even last year, not a great season to remember. He still averaged 8.6 targets.
Yeah,
like if that, I don't know. I like that points angle. I looked at their point total, thought about bringing it in, but I'll play the player markets, because I feel like those markets can hit too. The Olave bets can hit like both cases, good and bad.
Kramer, what do you like on the Underdog season long market?
Again, not to be one to walk into a restaurant and critique another person's menu, but we could do better. I guess I'll just double dip on Olave. It seems like the simplest angle. The touchdowns number is so low.
Yeah.
Again, who else other than, and I think the way we play Taysom Hill, by the way, is we just hammer the anytime every week.
Yeah.
Because where are they going to start that at? 3-1?
You think
250?
I don't know. I feel like there was a point where the market was on to the Taysom Hill stuff, and like it was. I feel like he got down to like plus 150 anytime. I could be wrong.
To start the season, you have all these fantasy nerds who are going to be like, he's a quarterback again. Dang, I can't. and then it's gonna be like, plus 275, and like bang, he's gonna have some weird. It's going to be
he very well could be their goal line.
Here's my prediction. Taysom Hill has the first kickoff return for a touchdown with the new kickoff rule.
Oh,
that's my prediction. Because why wouldn't you have him do that?
Yeah. Well,
it's a football
sort of like
get the ball in a football player's hands.
Where he like fakes a double pass or something and then runs with it.
Oh yeah, get some rugby like
this new return rule is. I mean, Sean Payton may trade for, him. By the time
Hester's coming back.
Hester 2.0, and it's Taysom Hill.
Oh, I love it.
So and Kamara. I don't even want to touch his rushing touchdowns because I'm worried about the Taysom Hill vulturing. I will go Yeah, to your point, Ryan, I do think his volume is going to be there. His rush total is only 650.5. So I'll take the Alvin Kamara.
Well, the case, the touchdowns are scary too, not just because of Taysom Hill. They also have a vulture named Jamal Williams. They also have a vulture named Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of other ways. So I'll take Alvin Kamara higher, 650.5 rushing yards. What about you, Chris? Anything on the Underdog season long market jumping out at you here?
Oh, I was actually looking at Alvin Kamara under in that situation. I think this is gonna.
Really?
I think this is gonna turn into a passing team. I don't know if that's what Clinton wants to do, but I don't know how effective that offensive line is gonna be. I know they drafted first round. What's his name? Tylese Fuaga. I'm sure he's a good addition for them, but I just don't trust Alvin at this point. He might have been a product of the Sean Payton offense, kind of, bringing out everything that they could with him, and obviously the Drew Brees factor in there too, kind of loosens up the running back. But I don't believe in him. But Chris Olave, over in touchdowns and yards, Sign me up.
All right. You guys talk
Sean,
me into it. I'll switch it to Olave higher. I didn't love the
2 years in the NFL. Year one, he had 1,042 and 4 touchdowns. Last year, he had 1,123 and 5 touchdowns in what most people were calling a horribly organized offense.
Over 1,000 yards with Andy Dalton.
Yeah, things get a little cleaner here.
Yeah, no, the Chris Olave ceiling is pretty high.
And if you are in the fantasy streets, when you get to the end of that second round, and there's a bunch of guys who you're like, I don't really want to take that guy. Just remember, Chris Olave is getting 30% of the target share for that team, and Malik Neighbors.
And he has a high ceiling. Before we let you go, Chris, and lock up our best bets, we alluded to you as a Giants fan. Where are you at with your New York Football Giants this season? Do you got your Daniel Jones jersey out? What's your take? How do you see it shaking out? Maybe any plays you like?
I like the beard on Daniel Jones. I'll start by saying that it's kind of fierce. Yeah, it's like a more mature. But I'll say this for the Giants. I mean, I'm not going to claim that they're going to do anything great in the NFC East even this season, but I do think that the Giants could be more like 2 years ago, where they were good ATS, right? Like they were a much more competitive team. I mean, apparently all the Giants need is an elite front seven, defensive line, and we go to the Super Bowl, right? And I think the Giants could really have that this season, like a top 5 defensive front who gets to the quarterback a lot. If Malik Neighbors can do what I think he can, I mean, I think he's a special player, guys. I mean, truly, just everything kind of jumping off the screen for him. And Daniel Jones knows. How could Daniel Jones not know that he needs to air the ball out a little bit more, like that, like stretch the field, Dan? So I think his career is riding on it, quite frankly, and now he has a wide receiver that can stretch that field for him. And it's not like they don't have other talent surrounding Malik Neighbors. So other guys are going to be open. I'm not worried about us losing Saquon. Who's worried about that? Not me. Yeah, I would lean over actually on the Giants win total. I think they're going to surprise some teams. I don't think that they compete with Dallas and Philly ultimately, but I think this is a team that we're just going to feel a little better about after this season, even though it's not going to result in much.
Sean, if you have not already seen the video of the combo practice with the Lions, last year the Giants got their ass kicked during this session. This year, a little bit different. Key takeaways: they have a right tackle who's actually holding up. Their defensive line is actually dominating the Lions offensive line, which is very good. And specifically Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence apparently are not being blocked. But lastly, Malik Neighbors is not letting the ball hit the ground. He is dominating. Granted, the Lions, Easy will tell you, the Lions secondary sucks, but he's dominant. He's a rookie. He's a guy that you said Cortland Sutton was better than. And he's going to be one of the most. I mean, Sean, my offensive player of the year plus 270, 27,500 ticket from the Circa. Let's get rich money. I love the optimism. Don't worry, I'm fired up about the Giants.
Yeah, I haven't heard any positive stuff about Malik Neighbors.
Did you see him starting a fight? Offensive lineman's getting held down, and Dan Jones comes over.
There's some fight in this team.
I love it. Love it.
All right, let's close out, recap some of the best bets. Kramer's got him 8 and 9. I got him 7 and 10. Chris has him 7 and 10. Again, using the photo of the giant check. Again, sign up Circuit Sports, Circuit Millions. Come out, say hi. Chris likes the lower. Alvin Kamara talked me out of my higher. I do like Chris Olave higher.
It's a really friends don't let friends moment, right?
Well, you know, the long shot stuff on him is probably the more fun way to play it than necessarily just his higher lower.
Play the rushing yards in the division if you want to play a ceiling case for Kamara. Everything else, yeah. Olave.
And Kramer with a good Olave lead the NFC South yards. I got Dennis Allen on the hot seat, and Saints fewest wins. That's in the mix. Chris likes him to only have 1 win in the first 5 games. Nice plus 225 there. And Chris Olave 12 receiving touchdowns, which is certainly doable for a young guy kind of making a leap here year 2, year 3. Even if the quarterback play isn't amazing, he's going to get the touches. He's going to get the volume and the targets.
I will say I've seen some fun like season long parlays with those types of 12 touchdown bets, like the alt numbers, like get up the ladder a couple rungs. It's pretty easy to get a nice multiplier in there. You put 4 or 5 of those together. Hello.